All right. So how was that locker room? How was the coach?
Man, I think the players were, in a way, sort of trying to be resolute. Like they give off the impression you're not going to collapse from this. You move on, you bounce back, but it's tough after that one. I'll tell you. I know some players were saying that maybe saw the finish line. Bradley Chubb, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Ramsey sort of refuted that concept, that notion that maybe they were looking at the finish line too early. I know I certainly was. I was focused on riding my Dolphins win, pull it out. They pull away late, and then I couldn't believe what was going on. Once one touchdown happened, then it seemed like okay, it's a possibility. And then sure enough, after the 2 point conversion, they were playing for the win, and they got it. And the Dolphins could not come down for a drive to respond.
Why won't Mike McDaniel take responsibility for his uh, not being dedicated to the run and just giving the lazy excuse every single time that it's a bad call because it didn't work? But if you keep saying it every single time, doesn't it become a bad call already at this point? Isn't it a bad call already at this point? That every time you're in the red zone, you're abandoning the run. I mean, at the end, they finally scored and they actually gave it to the run. But throughout the game, dude, in that part where Waddle gets the 7 yards, it's 2nd and 3. You start getting cute. Boom. Towards the end of the first half, you have an 11, a 14, a 4 yard run, and then all of a sudden you start passing the ball again, and you get cute and you kill the drives. It's dude, you're not old enough, but back in the day when we used to see Marino abandon the run or Shula and just call pass play, we understood because the run game wasn't that good. The offensive line, but they actually can do the job. And you were at one point averaging like 6.7 yards a carry. Like, why aren't you punishing the hell out of the opponent with the run game? And then the excuses after when it fails.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer from the very start. I was going to point to this number, 5.1. That's what they averaged for the game, and then they were even higher, obviously, earlier in the game. Raheem Mostert, it was working, and then late when you finally did go to him, those two touchdowns late, yeah, that's how you pulled away for a brief second there, I guess. But yeah, and then one third down, you're down there, third and goal, and then your best play is a fade to Cedric Wilson when he's in the game because Tyreek Hill's out for a while. That's frustrating. Then the fumbled quarterback center exchange. That's another missed opportunity. So they get to a point where deep into the fourth quarter, you haven't scored an offensive touchdown yet, and you had 3 trips inside the 10-yard line. All you came up with was 2 field goals. So that's really inexcusable for this offense. And I mean, something finally hit where they went to the run late, and you saw that it worked. But yeah, some of those play calls were frustrating down there.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't keep saying, "Oh, it's a bad call if it doesn't work." But you keep saying that it's a bad call and it doesn't work because it's not working. And
Yeah.
then when you go to it, like at the end of the game, it works. So at what point, coach, you admit it's a bad call and you're not running the proper offense for your team? And then on the flip side, I thought Fangio, brother, he did not pressure Will Levis, especially with that 14-point lead in that first drive. He's just going downfield. Brother, get after his ass. Send some extra people. Do something. Try to rattle him. Get him out of his comfort zone. None of that was happening. I thought Fangio also kind of Mike McDaniel more than anything, but I thought Fangio also failed his team.
Yeah, certainly, and I'll have to watch those two defensive series more closely because, like I said earlier, I mean, once they went up 2 touchdowns, and I'm not even so much looking at that first drive. I'm just saying, okay, yeah, they won. Even if they get some yards, they pull off a couple first downs. Once they get into the red zone, then the defense tightens up. But yeah, I mean, I imagine it was some soft coverages, and that's what happens when you go to that late and. When you've had the defense dominating them for the entire game up to that point. Will Levis was impressive. There were some miscommunications on the back end, that's for sure. That's how Hopkins got free on that first play of that second drive. So just yeah, critical mistakes down the stretch to on both defensively there and then throughout the game on offense.
Jalen Waddle runs 2 routes wrong. One almost he didn't have the drop this week like he normally does. You know, all these kind of things add up. You know what I'm saying? It's just this was a loss that was like ugly. Tua didn't play well at all today. You know, and as somebody said, which was a great way of putting it, it's happened a couple times where it looks like a really clumsy ending to a game. You know, the way the Kansas City game ended was kind of clumsy, and now this one tonight kind of ended kind of clumsy. It was just, man, it was just ugly overall. What do we know about Connor Williams?
Yeah, well, Mike McDaniel hadn't checked with trainers yet after the game. I know I've seen some reports that it is a serious injury. It looked like it the way he got rolled up on, and I did see him with a brace on the knee as well. So that's already there in place. We'll find out more tomorrow, but I'm anticipating it. I don't want to speculate, but I think it'll be some bad news, but nothing definitive.
Walking with the brace?
If I saw correctly, I saw him walking back into the tunnel. If indeed it was him, I mean, a guy that looked like Connor Williams wearing a brace on the knee. So,
okay, so he
but
was
yeah,
walking with a brace, but he had no crutches.
No crutches.
Okay. So I don't know. It could be bad, but real bad. I don't know. He's walking without crutches. Usually, you're air casted. You're on a wheelchair. You're with crutches. Your foot is up. Your leg is up in the air, or something. If he's just walking with a brace, I don't know how.
Yeah, then it could be better. Yeah, it could be better than what it looked like originally. So. Yeah, I'm no doctor, so I probably should have gone the route of saying it could be one of the worst.
Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be out like a month, right? Or
That's right. Half, yeah, the way he was walking. Although, yeah, he too was walking and not using a cart. So
and then he played
right back out there. Yeah, Monday night to Sunday turnaround. That's what the Dolphins have now too. So
right, and so it's like it's one of those deals. Like, hey, why didn't they get him a card? And he refused to get a card, and then he comes back and plays the following week. So it's like, okay, now I see why was going on. So if Connor's out there with a brace walking, I don't see crutches. I don't see a wheelchair. I don't see one of those little carts that they put your leg on and you can wheel it around and all that. I don't see any of that. Well, then I don't see an air cast. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I can't get too negative yet until you actually tell me it's really that bad. You know what I'm saying? He could have torn it and he still could be walking around with a brace, by the way. He could be just way tougher than you and I.
Yeah, well, and I mean, and actually, I mean, there's stories of torn ACLs where a guy like Klay Thompson walked back out and shot a couple free throws. Was it Carson Wentz? Yeah. He was in a couple of plays that year when he tore. So yeah, that's why there's so many different ways it can go. But there will be a key update most likely tomorrow when McDaniel speaks.
I watched on the field Ed Perry run off the field, blow out a knee ligament, an ACL. He stepped on the part where the clay and the grass meet, and just that it made that twist, and it made him blow out his ACL. He walks off the field. Okay, they score a touchdown. Ed, we need you in here. The mother effer went back in, snapped the ball perfectly for an extra point with a blown knee ligament.
Wow. And those days, you could line up over the center too, no? It wasn't like long snapper, I should say.
If you ever run into Ed Perry, or if you ever need some kind of a crazy ACL story, make a note in there.
Okay.
Go chase Ed Perry on that, and he'll tell you the story. Because I saw it. I witnessed it.
That's some legendary shit. Yeah.
He was out for the season after that game.
Wow. Incredible.
It just shows, some of these guys are freakish. So Connor Williams could have a blown knee ligament, could have a brace on, and could be just one tough son of a bitch. Bro, Marino never repaired that Achilles, right?
The Achilles, huh? I
Yeah,
would always hear, yeah, he was just never the same after that. But
it just
mentally, mm-hmm.
he wore that big ankle thing to kind of offset the fact that he really didn't even replace his Achilles.
Okay, yeah.
So,
But,
you know,
well, yeah,
it's
they were
one of
talking
those.
about the conversations that he and Aaron Rodgers had, and I mean, because he still had the timeline for it, right? But so he never fully recovered.
No, he just let it
Mhm.
go. And he played with some big ass brace on his ankle to provide the support. So it showed you how great Marino was. That's a huge blow to his lower base, and yet
Of
he
course,
still could, sling the shit out of the wall. So it's just Marino. Theme of the show today. That guy was special.
he was different. A lot of kids say different these days. He was different.
Yeah, yeah. That dude is that dude's a Martian compared to some of the people we see nowadays. He is a cut of a different cloth. What'd you think of the defensive performance? Because it was absolutely terrible when you needed it.
Yeah, when you needed it most. I thought for most of the game, and this is I just assumed the end would go this way. Yeah, I mean they were doing just fine. Maybe not enough pressure on Levis, of course, and we saw that rear its ugly head late. But I mean, fine, kind of what I thought I was expecting. The Dolphins should do against the Titans. They held Derrick Henry to 2 yards per carry. That's where my focus would have been, and then a lot of what Levis did was late on those 2 drives. So just very surprising that I know the secondary didn't have both its starters by the end. So Deshaun Elliott lost in this game, went back in, had to go back out. So then you're going with Brandon Jones because Javon Holland's already out. So Brandon Jones and Elijah Campbell there on the back end. But I mean, it's still secondary where you have this cornerback combination of Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard. So I was not expecting 2 quick touchdown scoring drives to blow a 14-point lead. You think with this defense, it should be over every time against any quarterback, let alone. All right, Levis played his ass off, but a rookie quarterback on this type of stage, this defense should seal the deal on that situation 100 times out of 100.
How much do you lay it on Tua?
Yeah, a lot. And there's the big debate over Tua Tyreek Hill, who's more deserving of the MVP. I think this game pretty much sealed it that Tyreek Hill is the most valuable piece to this offense, and yes, Tua is in that conversation for his play. Obviously, this game notwithstanding, but then he went out and the offense changes a lot, and then the missed opportunities. And it's not just Tyreek Hill; 4 starters now down on the offensive line. Although we have seen this offense be able to overcome that at other times. Not so much today, although they did run the ball well, but some pressure. I know Tua was hit, sacked 5 times. I just looked down quickly to find that number. So 5 times sacked. The last one, the one to seal it on the 4th down, and it just felt like you said the word clumsy. Like it just the whole way. I was there. You see, even after the Titans score those 2 touchdowns, it's 28-27. I should expect Tua and his Dolphins offense against the Titans, which are not a strong defense, and was without Jeffrey Simmons in this game, to just go right down and at least get a field goal. That's all you need. And for some reason, you went that drive saying, just what I've seen this game, I don't think it's like under 50% that it's going to happen. And they're thinking it's more likely it doesn't than it does. And then sure enough, it doesn't happen when that's a drive that should be like a 75% success rate. That should almost be, all right, Tua's going to get you guys in the field goal range to score those winning 3 points. And it didn't happen.
So let me ask you something. If we talk about McDaniel now, okay, how much does this lay on McDaniel that as a offensive mind, if you are Mr. Creative, you've got to be able to be creative without Tyreek. You've got to be able to run the offense at times, complement your quarterback better with the running game so you can make life easier on Tua, actually. Tua, again, not that guy, okay? That guy, you can say, F the running game. Here's the ball, Dan. Throw it 50 times. get us out of this. Most quarterbacks in this league cannot do that. Okay, it's Mahomes with good receivers. It's Joe Burrow. He has good receivers. So those there's only a couple of those guys that I would say, here's the ball, sling it 50 times, get us out of this. You know what I'm saying? Tua's not that guy, and like most quarterbacks in this league aren't that guy. And so run the offense, do a better job. I think this starts if Tyreek can't be there for every down for you. You've got to be prepared that he's not going to be there for every down at times. This is football, dude. It's a brutal game. So, you're going to lose people. You got to be prepared. You got to adjust. And I can't say that the adjustment from Mike McDaniel is very good.
Right. So those debates that would go on, whether how much of the success of this offense goes Tua to Tyreek, and then now we add Mike McDaniel into that as well. Well, same as I just said about Tua. Well, Mike McDaniel did not get this offense going the same way when Tyreek Hill went out. So I think we've slid Tyreek Hill's value a little bit higher, although it was obviously already very high, a little bit more now after seeing this, where both with Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, they have other weapons. Jalen Waddle should be able to step up. We've seen him have a 1,000-yard season as a rookie before Tyreek Hill even got here. And in with a Brian Flores-led team, George Godsey is offensive coordinator, and he was able to do that as a rookie coming in. You still have Raheem Mostert. You still have Devon Achane. So this offense should have been able to do more the moments when Tyreek Hill was out of this game.
X-Men with the thigh, hip, whatever that was, Waddle, obviously, Mostert with the ankle, Connor Williams, Deshaun Elliott had the concussion stuff but came back, so obviously he checked out. What do we know about all these injuries? I know we talked about Connor, and some of these other guys continue to play, but still, you know how it is, bro. Then later on after the game and the next day, we hear, oh, yeah, Mostert's ankle blew up like an avocado, and, all of a sudden, so what do we know about any of these guys? Did you see them in the locker room? How did they look? What's the deal?
Yeah, oftentimes it's that adrenaline that gets you through the game. And then even remember the Javon Holland leaving the MetLife Stadium, he was saying he was okay with those knees, and he's missed 2 straight games after that. So I guess we'll start with Tyreek Hill. He had that ankle taped up. We know he's been dealing with the ankle for a few games now, but was just very fine against Washington on it. But obviously, he said he thought his ankle was gone when he went down, and obviously the cameras caught him in a lot of pain. But was able to go back in and out of the lineup. So something that he spoke to us post game. He went up there. He was the first one to go up to the podium. So it's probably something he's going to be dealing with even to a greater extent now for the remainder of the season. That's just going to be the reality. Xavier Howard. It seemed like the hip. It was never really announced as officially because he went back in so quickly, sort of before they could even send out whether he's questionable or out, or so. He was already back in, but he was grabbing at the hip. I don't think as of tonight anything too serious. He finished it off, but probably something that we see on the injury report, and then the team has to monitor on this short week as he starts feeling the residuals of it. And who else? We know Deshaun Elliott. So then he wasn't in at the end, so he did come back in, but then checked back out. So he also had the ribs to go with that concussion evaluation. So that's something that's most likely going to linger, and then now you have to monitor that through this short week before facing the Jets.
676 games. You know what that is?
Is that Dolphins all time? How many they played? What?
Last time a team gave up a 14-point lead with less than 3 minutes left in it.
Ooh, where'd you get the stat? Well, so how many? How long ago was that?
670. I don't know. Now you're asking me. I'm not a math major, bro. Okay, I'm a dumbass.
I'm just saying. I thought you might have seen it in the same tweet or whatever it was.
Music. That's it, and crypto. That's it. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else in life. So I don't know what that equates to, but it's been 676 games since the last time a team gave up a 14-point lead with less than 3 minutes left in the game. That's not good.
But wherever you got it from, they didn't have the which team beat which.
I did not see the thing, but
okay, yeah.
That's your job. So when I read
I'm
your
gonna look
article,
it up now. As soon as I get off with it, I'm gonna look it up.
There you go. That's your job now.
Because now I have to get that in my article.
All right, what do you got going on the Sun Sentinel now? You got plenty to talk about now with this debacle.
Yeah, right. So looking at wrapping up on this and getting home at this hour, and then I'll recalibrate tomorrow before I know we'll follow up with McDaniel. Probably get all the updates. Connor Williams, definitely look out for that. That'll be the big injury news, I'm sure, tomorrow, and then it goes straight into it a short week before the Jets, but staying at home at least. So got a home game stretch here to get through in December.
Yep, there you go. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ knows how to get it done. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up some Thursday, I think, right?
Okay.
We'll catch up Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Yeah. You got it. There you go, David Furones. It's Dolphins and Jets week.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.